In the name of Allah, the entirely merciful, the especially merciful, may peace, mercy and blessings of Allah the Almighty be upon all of you. I am Umar bin Abid and you are watching Umar Linguistics. So dear viewers, in this lecture we are going to discuss chapter 5 from the study of language by George Yule, word formation with study questions. So in this lecture I'll cover this complete chapter. So this video in English, and you can watch the same video in Urdu as well. I have given the link of the Urdu video in the description below. So because it's a long video, so you can see I have created different sections in this video. If you move your cursor here on YouTube or in the description, you can see that I have mentioned that from 5 minutes this topic will start, from 10 minutes this topic will start. So in this way, if you want to switch on to a specific topic, so you can go to that topic if you understand some of the topics as well. Some of the topics, if you understand some of the topics, then you can move forward. Or if you want to move directly to the study questions, then you can move forward there as well. Alright, so let's start. So actually in this lecture we are going to study that how the words are formed, how the words are added in a language, and here we specifically shall talk about English, but we shall also talk about some other languages as well at some points. So we know that every year, or we can say every day, some words are made or some words are added into a language. Therefore, whenever a new dictionary or a new edition of the dictionary is published, there are a lot of words which have been added, because this is one of our property of human language, that is productivity. So we create a lot of words just whenever we face a new situation, or in other words, language is just always changing from past to present and even in future. There were many words which were used in the past, but now new words have taken their places. So a lot of things we can understand in this way, but in this here in this lecture we are just focusing that what are the different processes, what are the different ways that words are added into a language and how they are added. So first of all, you know, George Yule always puts a quotation or puts a story or puts a real incident relevant to the chapter which we are going to study. So actually if you can just stop the video and you can read it. So here actually he is narrating an incident of the person whose name is Norris. So actually the person is telling that he or she wants to text someone, and there was an autocorrect option in their mobile, and he or she wanted to write good night, but it appears good nacht. So actually a good nacht, and I sent cute knocks. Yeah, actually she is saying that she wanted to send good nacht, but it sent as cute knockers, because you know, when we have turned on the autocorrect in our keyboard on mobile, so sometimes such incidents happen, and she wanted to write adverbial, but it comes out to be adrenal. Similarly, when she asked her friend that what should she bring in the dinner, and the reply came as food and dissertation. Surely her friend wanted to write dessert, dessert, which is a sweet dish, but just due to autocorrection this has changed to dissertation. However, as you can see, this incident is from 2015 and now we are in 2020. So now we have a lot of options. We can turn off the autocorrection from our mobile, and even now the autocorrection is, so you can say, so contextualized as well to some extent. So first of all, what is neologism? So an interesting story: in 1900, in New Berlin, Ohio, a department store worker whose name was James Murray Spangler, he invented a machine that he called an electric suction sweeper, which we usually nowadays call as vacuum cleaner. So he invented this machine, electric suction sweeper. And it could have been possible that people, just on the name of the person, people might be start using word like spanglering, that I am spanglering my curtains, or I am spanglering my carpet. Or people might have told that a spanglerish behavior or spanglerism means to say that persons whose attitude is really odd or really dry. So such type of word could have been invented from Spangler, because we know that there are a lot of words today we are using which are based on the name of some person. For example, in physics we use watt, or we use volt on based on Count Volta. We use Newton, and we use Farad. All these units are on the name of some persons. So it could have been happened in this way. But Mr. Spangler, he sold his new invention to a local businessman whose name was William H. Hoover. Now Hoover Suction Sweeper Company produced first machine which they named as Hoover. Now as this machine or this vacuum cleaner started becoming famous or popular, so people started using this word. First of all, because it was the name of a trademark, so therefore it is capital, they converted it into small letter. Now people started producing Hoover of many companies. For example, it might be possible Hoover of Panasonic, Hoover of Sony, Hoover of Orient, Hoover of this and that companies. And after that, people also started using this word as a verb. For example, they started using that they were hoovering, somebody is hoovering their rugs, somebody is hoovering their curtains, somebody is hoovering their carpets. So people started using this word not just as a noun but also as a verb. All right. And still we find this word in the dictionary, and still in Britain people are using this word as a verb. Now after this it is just an incident that how words can add into a language. All right. And there are a lot of examples which tell us that how different words are added in this way. So it is neologism. Actually neologism mean a new word. Neologism means a new word. So this was a new word, and we have just studied that how it has been added in the language, in English language. Now we shall discuss etymology. So etymology is actually the study of origin and history of a word. It is known as its etymology. We have just studied the etymology of the word Hoover, that how it is created and what was the story behind it. The word etymology itself in English has come from Latin to Greek. So actually the main origin of this word etymology is Greek. In Greek, etymon mean original form and logia mean study of. Similarly in Greek we have also a word similar to this, which is actually entomon. But entomon mean insect, and entomology is the study of insects, we know. And similarly when we open a dictionary, for example if you open Oxford Advanced Standard Dictionary or any other good dictionary, so you will, if you search this word uni or mono or one, so you will find that this word is adopted, this word is borrowed by English from German. So this word has German origin. This word mono, which means one, it has Greek origin. If we look up this word uni has the origin of Latin. So in this way you will find in the dictionary that from which languages words have been added into English. Similarly, when we look up the dictionary, for example, if we look at those dictionaries which are specifically dealing with etymology, so we come to know that sometimes when new words were added like handbook or aviation, at first these words were considered very, you can say, very informal, or you can say very confused words, or some people did not like these words when they were added into dictionaries, but usually they became the part of the life. Now we are going to discuss borrowing. So borrowing is actually one of the most common process in English as well as languages like German. Borrowing is so common in such languages. And what is borrowing? In borrowing, words are taken over from other languages. For example, it means that a language borrow a word from another language and added it into itself. It is borrowing. And English has a lot of words from different languages which it has borrowed. For example, if we look at dope, which is actually a Dutch word, jewel, French word, piano, Italian, this word tattoo or tattoo. Tattoo is the pronunciation in British English and tattoo is the pronunciation in American English. So it is actually comes from Scythian, Scythian language, which is I think spoken in Thailand. Then pretzel, it is adopted from Germany. Pretzel, its pronunciation is pretzel, not zal. Pretzel are actually a biscuit like these. Then tycoon from Japanese, glitzy from Yiddish. This is I think spoken in Eastern Africa or Eastern Europe in some or in some you can say countries like that. Then we have the word just like yogurt, which is adopted from Turkish language. Then we have lilac, which is adopted from Persian. Then we have sofa, which is adopted from Arabic, and zebra or zebra, which is adopted from Bantu language. Alright, so these are different languages, and there are many words which English has adopted from more languages as well. Alright, this is borrowing. So not only English but many other languages, or we can say all languages, almost all languages borrow words from other languages, and this is the way. And due to this borrowing, there are many sounds, there are some sounds which were not present in English before that borrowing. For example, we know this sound which is a voiced fricative, voiced palatal fricative. Now this word appears in word like player. Now this sound is added when English adopted or English borrowed words from French, like for example we have measure, measure, or rouge, rouge. When English adopted or borrowed these words from French, so this sound also come into English. Some other examples from other languages who has borrowed words from English. So these are, for example, Japanese. In Japanese, this word suppa or supermarketo is used, and this word is actually borrowed from English supermarket. Similarly is the case with typewriter. Now it is used in Japanese as typewriter. Then we have in Finnish, and the language spoken in Finland is Finnish. So in Finnish they use this word saki, which they mean just similar to English, the English word check, to pay their bills. So actually they have borrowed this word from English. Hungarians, they talk about sport, club and football. So actually they have adopted these words from English. sports club and football. And a language like Brazilian Portuguese. In Brazilian Portuguese, uh, this language has borrowed two words from English. One is the up and the second is nerd. Now they are using this word up as upper to means, and they use it upper for as a meaning to upload. And from nerd they created a word nerdier, and it means, in Portuguese it means to surf on the internet. So for example, if in Brazilian Portuguese is someone wants to describe surfing on the internet, so he or she will use this word nerdier. All right. And then in some cases, interestingly, what happens that the borrowed word is used in a very different meaning, in a quite novel meaning. For example, uh, German has borrowed the word partner from English. And in English, partner means a business partner. Partner also means a person whom you have married to or you have relationship with that person. Partner also mean, you can say, business partner, or partner might also mean friends. But in German they borrowed this word partner, and they also join this word with that partner look, and they use this specific word partner look for those two persons who are wearing similar clothes. So in German, if two persons are wearing simple clothes, they will be called as partner look. And this meaning of partner is not used in English. So sometimes this also happens that the language who is borrowing the word, it used a word in a different meaning. Close to borrowing, we have loan translation. What happens in loan translation, or it is also known as calque? Now in loan translation the word is borrowed, but what happens that the language which is borrowing a word, that this language translate the elements of that borrow word into their own language. All right, so let me give you an example. For example, in English there is a word skyscraper. Skyscraper mean a very tall, a very large building. Now French has borrowed this word, but also has translated this skyscraper in their own language. Now in French it is translated as gratte-ciel, and if we translate gratte-ciel into English, it is translated as scrape sky. It means gratte means scrape and ciel means sky. Same is the case with Wolkenkrabber in Dutch, which is when Dutch borrowed this word, they also uh, loan translate it, and they use cloud scratcher. And Wolkenkratzer, for example, in German it is translated as cloud scraper. So actually what just focus on this word, translation of the elements of a word into the borrowing language. So this happens in loan translation, unlike borrowing. In borrowing we have seen that the form does not change. For example, in English it was supermarket, in Japanese it was super or supermarket, very close to the original word which has been borrowed. But here we can see that the word has been translated, or has been literally translated, and therefore it has a different form from the original word. Similarly, English also sometimes loan translate some words which it takes from other languages. For example, the word Superman, it is borrowed, or it is translated in English from the German word Ubermensch. From this, now English has translated this word into Superman, and the word loan word itself Loan word itself is borrowed from German Loanwort. And in English there are some other words as like, for example, moment of truth. This is actually a loan translation of a Spanish phrase, el momento de la verdad. And similarly, Spanish speakers, they eat Paris Calentians, which literally mean dogs hot, but actually it is the loan translation of English expression hot dogs. And other interesting example, very interesting example, the American concept, boyfriend. Now it is loan translated into Chinese, and Chinese has translated it into male friend. Now whenever a Chinese say I have a male friend, so the person will think very differently if he or she is from America about the concept of male friend and boyfriend. All right, so this is also sometimes this also happens, that the translation or the loan translation might change the meaning as well to some extent. But this is what we study, or this is what the loan translation is. Then we have compounding. As the word suggests, in compounding, two words are joined to make a single form. And in English we have many examples, and this is also common in German and English. For example, bookcase, door knob, fingerprint, sunburn, textbook, wallpaper, waste basket, water bed, and there are loads of other examples as well. And sometimes two adjectives can be combined to form a compound word. For example, if I say good looking, so good looking is a compound adjective. Or if I say low paid, or if I say, for example, fast food restaurant. In fast food restaurant, the fast food is an adjective and restaurant is a noun. Or if I say, for example, full-time job. In full-time job, full-time is an adjective and job is a noun. So this is very productive in English. But compounding does not limit to English only. It is also found in other languages as well. For example, we have a language, Hmong, and it is spoken in Laos and Vietnam. So for example, in this language, for example, HWJ, Huaj mean port and Kais means spout. You know the spout of the cattle, the, you can say, the thin uh, the thin the thin line which is uh, getting out of the cattle. So Huaj mean port and Kais means spout. So when they combine this, they make a new word, cattle. And for example, flour plus corn, and they make pies, popcorn. And hanab, bag plus put plus paper, and they make a word, hanabrotav, school bag. So we can see that it seems a very systematic process, that how they combine two words to make a new word. Unlike English, in English although there is compounding, but not as systematic as in Hmong. Next we have blending. As the word suggests, in blending, just for example, in blender we put mango, we put milk, and we make a milkshake. So same is the case here. Blending is just like a mixture. But what happens in blending? In blending, two words join together just like compounding. But in blending, usually we take the beginning of one word and the end of another word. For example, smog. You know, smog is the combination of smoke plus fog. Then we have smaze. Now smaze is the combination of smoke plus haze, Haze. Similarly, at some places people talk about smirk. What is smirk? Smirk is actually smoke plus murk, M-U-R-K. And for example, in Hawaii, people talk about vogue. Where there is a volcano near them, they use the word vogue, because due to volcano there might be a lot of smoke, so therefore they use the word vogue. Then some other example, for example, you can see here, let me find, yes, binary digit, binary plus digit, brunch, breakfast plus lunch, motel, motor plus hotel, telecast, television plus broadcast, Oxbridge, a very you can say beautiful word, the combination of Oxford and Cambridge. And channel is actually a tunnel which connects England and France, so they have named it channel. All right, and there are other some examples of blending as well, which I shall discuss here, like infotainment. Infotainment. Now this is the blending of two words, information and entertainment. Similarly, we have telethon. So telethon is the combination of two words, tele from telephone or telecast, and thon is from marathon, so means a long telecast, and usually it is used to raise the funds. Then we have simulcast. Simulcast is the blending of two words. Simul mean simultaneous, and cast is from the broadcast. Simulcast mean that when two or more programs are casting simultaneously at the same time. Similarly, if someone is speaking the mixture of two languages like Spanish plus English, so we call that language Spanglish. Or we may also call if someone is speaking Frenchese and Anglais, so we say Franglais. And in some examples of blending, we take not only the first part of one word and the second part of and the last part of second word, but in some blending we take only the first part of two words. For example, we have this word telephone and we have another word exchange. Now from this we have made a word telex. Tel from this and x from this. Such examples are also modem, modulator plus demodulator, so we use modem. Then a word VELOURS, Velars crochet. It is a French word and it is blended, and in English it is used as velcro, VELCRO. So these are the some examples of blending. Then we have clipping. As the word suggests, in clipping actually we reduce a word. So this is the definition of clipping. Usually one syllable is reduced to a shorter form in clipping. For example, facsimile was the word, but it is used as fax now. Gasoline is just used as gas. Advertisement is used as ad. Cabriolet is just used as cab, which is also known as taxi. Condominium just as condo. Fanatic as fan. Flu from influenza. Pump from permanent wave. Phone from telephone. Plane from airplane or aeroplane. Pub from public house. So there are a lot of words which are clipped in daily life, and usually some words might be used in the formal context as well, like fax or gas. But words like ad, they usually, or condo, might not be used in the formal writing, but all of these words are used in spoken language in daily life. And sometimes English speakers also clip the name of each other. For example, from Albert just Al, from Eddie just Ed, from Michael just Mike, from Suvage just Sue, from Thomas just Tom. So they also clip sometimes the words of the name of each other. And there are some clipping which occur in some academic context. For example, we use exam wherever while the full form is examination. We also use the word lab instead of laboratory. We also use the word cam instead of chemistry. We also use the word gym, which is a gymnasium actually. We also use the word math instead of mathematics. So in some educational contexts, some words or some forms are clipped. Similar to you can say similar to blending, we have another type of process in which a word is reduced, and that is hypocorism. What happens in hypocorism? In hypocorism, a word is reduced, a longer word is reduced to a single syllable, then a y or ie is added at the end, and it is usually favored, or it is usually performed. This process is used in British and Australian English. So for example, moving pictures, so this ing has been cutted, similarly the pictures, and just ie has been added, so it is movie. Many people might not know that movie is just the blending of moving pictures or hypocorism of moving pictures. From television we are just using tele. For Australian we are just use these Aussies. This word is used in commentaries. And we have barbecue, but we are just using barbie. And from biscuit we have made the hypocorism as bicky. Alright, so there are a lot of examples. Similarly, we have toasty. From toasted sandwich we have one might also say I am on a sickie, mean I am on a sick leave. Then moving towards the next process, which is a backformation. Backformation is also one of the type in which a word is reduced. And what happens that in this process a word is reduced, mean a word has reduction, but this reduction also changes in the category of the word. So for example, if there is a noun and that is reduced, so it will become a verb. So for example, if we talk about the examples, we have the word television and we have reduced it to make a verb televise. We have the word donation, from it we have made the word donate. We have the noun emotion, from it we have just made emote, which is a verb. From enthusiasm we have just used the word just backformed the word enthuse. And similarly from the word option, which is a noun, we have a verb opt. And there are some other words as well, like from automation we have automate, from bulldozer we have bulldoze, from choreography we have choreograph. So all of these are noun and which has been backformed to verb. It doesn't mean that now this word cannot be used, both words are using, but a verb is also formed from these. From mixture we have mix, syllabification we have syllabify. From orientation we have orientate and orient, and other examples as well. For example, swindler, swindle. And similarly from beggars we have beg. From burglar we have just burgle. From babysitter we are using the word babysit. So there are lots of examples, but there is a regular backformation process in English. And what is that? It is a process where some words are ending at er in English, especially noun sometimes. So in English, any word which is ending at er or this or similar sound like that it is er is reduced, er is, you can say, skipped, and the rest of the word is used as a verb. So for example, from worker, when we reduced it just to work, it becomes a verb. For example, we have editor. and from it we have made the verb edit. From sculptor we have made the word sculpt. From babysitter we have babysit. From beggars we have beg. From burglar we have just the verb burgle. Alright, so these were some example. From swindler we have swindle. From peddlers we have peddle. Now we'll talk about conversion. Conversion is a process in which the word will not be reduced, but the same verb in different context can be used as a noun or as a verb or as an adjective. Alright, so therefore it is known as a change in the function of a word without any reduction. So this process is all known as conversion, as well as category change or functional shift. So these are three different names for this process. So for example, we have a word bottle. Alright, so bottle is usually a noun, but the same bottle can be used as a verb as well. For example, we might say we bottled the cold drink last night, means we have filled the bottles with cold drink. Or I say I have buttered my bread, or I am buttering my bread. Or I say someone or Ali is chairing the meeting, means that person is chairing the meeting. Vocation, they are vacationing in Florida, they are vacationing in Washington. Alright, then for example we have the word impact, which can be used both as a noun and as a verb. So this conversion process is very productive in modern English, with new uses occurring frequently. Similarly, we have the word guess. It can also be used as a noun and as a verb. And spy. Alright. Sometimes the phrasal verbs like to print out or to take over, they also becomes as noun. And when we say please take a print out of this paper, or please take a print out of this book, or please take over, or if someone say he has a takeover on the highway. Then there are some interesting or complex combination in which a verb becomes as a noun. For example, want to be, it is a verb. For example, if somebody say I want to be, now from this English people has created a word wannabe, mean he is just a wannabe, mean he is just a person who want to be. So for want to be we are using a verb, a noun wannabe. Alright, then we have this you can say this table where noun are also changing to verb and some verbs are also changing to noun. For example, to cheat, he is a cheat. To doubt, we had some doubts. To hand out, I need a handout. To hire, we have 2 new hires, mean we have hired 2 new people. Similarly, some nouns like this, did you dust the living room, or a word like glue. So I'll have to glue, who will referee the game, or would you water my plant. So these are interesting examples. Sometimes a noun is used as a verb, and sometimes a verb can be converted to a noun as well. Alright, and there are many other examples as well. For example, dirty floor. Now dirty floor, you can say it is a adjective plus noun, dirty floor. If we say it is a dirty floor, so it is an adjective, but it can be used as a noun, to dirty floor, to dirty floor. Or empty room, to empty the room. If I say please empty the room, so it means empty is using as a verb here. And sometimes, for example, we know ballpark where usually baseball is playing, but this is a noun, but I can use it as a ballpark figure, means a shape which is just like a ballpark. So now it is adjective. And other nouns of this type are, for example, carpool, mastermind, all right, microwave, it is a microwave, or I am microwaving my dish, or other examples as well. Similarly, we have the word up and down. Now up and down can also be used as verb. If I say, if people are saying they are going to up the price of the oil, and the others are going to down the price of the oil. But there are sometimes we should not be very, you can say, generalize about this. Sometimes a word like doctor, now if somebody say from doctor, we can make the word to doctor, but this word to doctor is used in a very negative sense. It is to doctor mean to change something. To doctor mean, for example, you have somebody has altered a document, somebody has manipulated a document or anything, or somebody has deceived somebody. So for this we use the word to doctor as a verb. All right. Similarly, the word like total. Now total as a verb might also be used. If I say my car is totaled, mean my car has damaged. Or if somebody say that your insurance company gives you the runaround, sorry, if you total your car, mean if you damage your car, then your insurance company gives you the turn around, gives you the run around, mean then your insurance company will charge you, or will you can say will take something from you. So in this sense, run around is also making a negative sense. All right, so for this we have also need to be familiar with the conventions and how the words are using in different contexts. So similarly, the verbs such as see through, stand up can also become adjective like see through material or stand up comedian. Some compounds noun have also assumed other functions like carpool, I have also always I have already told you that this carpool, mastermind, microwave, quarterback, they can also be used as verb now. Coinage. So the invention and general use of totally new terms. When we invent totally new terms, the process is called coinage. All right. And typical sources are trade names. For example, when different companies are opened, so if they are popular, so after some times their products are used as general terms. For example, we have aspirin, nylon, Vaseline, zipper. At first these were all the names of certain companies or certain trade names, but after some times these also have started to be used as a general verb. Now we have zipper of different companies, now we have Vaseline of different companies, now we have nylon of different companies, now we have aspirin of different companies. All right. And granola, Kleenex, sorry, I didn't write the L, so it is Kleenex, Teflon, Xerox. These are all of these examples. Initially they were just the name of the companies, but now we have granola of certain companies, or Kleenex or some other companies. I have seen at some places, diaper, and one company of the diaper is Pamper. Some people, they just go to the shopkeeper and they say, please give me Pampers, and the shopkeeper asks, Pamper of which company? Now you see, actually Pamper is the name of a company, but the shopkeeper and the customer, they are thinking that Pamper is this diaper, and now they say the Pamper of this company, the Pamper of this company, the Pamper of this company. So actually they are using this word not just as a trade name, but they are using it as a general common noun, that Pampers are of different company, just as the case with here zipper, granola, Kleenex, nylon, aspirin. One of the interesting example of this coinage is Google. You know, you are googling or many other things. So actually this word was gogol, G-O-O-G-O-L, and it means that one followed by 100 zeros. If there are 100 zeros after one, so it means gogol. So based on this they make this word Google, that they aimed that we will provide such a big amount of information, so therefore they use this word Google, and they made it Googleplex. So after some time it started to use just as Google, and then people start using it as a noun Google, and then people convert it uh, to use it as a verb as well. Now we say, are you googling it? Have you googled it? Means have you searched on Google? All right. Now we discuss eponym. So eponym actually uh, the new words which are based on the name of a person or a place. These are called eponyms. So for example, when we discuss the Hoover was an eponym. All right. Or if we say Newton, which is the unit in used in physics, it is also an eponym. And there are some other eponyms which are based on some persons, like teddy bear. Now teddy bear was based on the US president Theodore Roosevelt, and jeans was actually an the was first made in the Italian city Genoa, and they name that cloth, or they name their clothing as jeans. But now we have jeans of many different companies. Similar is the case is sandwich was first used by the person was Earl of Sandwich, but whenever he takes his bread, his friends always call him sandwich. So therefore now it is using a dish, sandwich. These are some famous eponyms. Now we are looking at acronym. A very easy acronym are new words formed from the initial letters of a set of other words. So therefore, because it formed from the initial letters of a set of other words, so therefore this is also known as initialism. All right. So we have many examples like CD compact disc, SPCA, Society for the Prevention of uh, Cruelty to Animals. And usually in acronym each letter is pronounced separately, but there are some acronym which are used as a complete word, like NATO, NASA, UNESCO. Similarly, laser, a very big combination of light amplification by stimulated emission of radiation. Radar, scuba diving. Similarly, a SIM, subscriber identity module, or we say zip code, zone improvement plan. So many times we are not aware the full forms of these acronyms. All right. And we might have example like SNA, FU, SNAFO, situation normal, all fouled up. Or sometimes there are some, you can say, some acronyms based on some organization, like, let me write them. MADD, MAD. So it is an organization, Mothers Against Drunk Driving. Then WAR, Women Against Rape. Then ATM, automatic teller machine, ATM, or PIN, personal identification code number. All right. So these are some, you can say, very famous acronyms. Here I want to clear a confusion. Sometimes people are confused between the acronyms and abbreviation. Now if you look up in the dictionary, you will find Oxford in Oxford Advanced Learner Dictionary, they say that AC is the abbreviation of air conditioning. All right, now AC, air conditioning, but abbreviation, the word abbreviation is also used for some short forms. For example, this is Mrs., this is the short form of Mrs., it is also an abbreviation. But so we can say that all acronyms may be called as abbreviation, but all abbreviations cannot be called as acronym. We cannot call this as acronym, Mrs., we can only call it abbreviation. But as far as AC is concerned, we can call it abbreviation as well as an acronym, because from each letter a word is starting. Derivation. So we have studied such processes, different processes and so far, but derivation, this is by far the most common word formation process to be used in the production of new words. So what happens in derivation? The process of forming new words by adding affixes. What do we mean by affixes? Prefixes, suffixes and infixes. In some languages infixes are used, in some other languages infixes are not used. So, and dictionaries usually do not provide the list for these affixes. Some examples like un, miss, pre, full, less, ish, ism, ness, which usually appear in the beginning of word like unhappy, miss, represent, prejudice, joyful, careless, boyish, terrorism, sadness. So these are some examples where, for example, ness, this is a suffix, this is a prefix, this is a prefix, this is a prefix, this is a suffix, this is a suffix, this is also a suffix, and same is the case here. But there are a lot of prefixes and suffixes in English and in other languages as well. If we talk about what are prefixes, prefixes are usually a bound morpheme added to the beginning of a word. It is a prefix. What are bound morphemes and what are free morphemes? We shall discuss this aspect. Similarly, this derivation or prefixes and suffixes, we shall discuss these aspects in very detail in the next chapter. But bound morpheme which cannot stand on its own. Similarly, a bound morpheme added to the end of a word, it is a suffix. And all English words usually are formed by this derivational process. For example, they have either prefixes or suffixes. For example, misled, disrespectful, foolishness. All right, in foolishness we have from fool. Lish is also a ish is also a suffix, so therefore there are two suffixes in foolishness. And according to Dixon, English has about 200 derivational affixes and divided into 90 prefixes and 110 suffixes according to Dixon. So what are infixes? As I have said, infixes are usually not very common in English but some other languages, and we shall discuss that language as well. But in English, sometimes a speaker in an emotional situation or fortuitous situation or aggravating circumstances, people using some infixes like this. I'll not pronounce this, but I'll just underline it. Hal, Lujah. Now actually this is the complete word. And between this they have added this word to make an infix. Similarly, yes, I can pronounce this abso, god damn, absolutely. Now in this word, god damn is an infix, absolutely absolutely. But usually these words are not very regular in English, and these are not formal words. So in English there is you can say it is just by chance that sometimes an infix may occur. But in other languages, like we have Khmer, this is a language which is spoken in Laos and Vietnam. So you can see a consistent use of infix. For example, see is a verb. See mean to drill, and it is a verb. But to make it a noun, they add an infix rn. So it is now a drill. To, which mean a chisel, to chisel something, but trnoh mean a chisel. Similarly, her neep a spoon, but heap mean to eat with spoon. To tie is home, but a thing with which to tie it is her home. So there are many words which are formed by multiple processes. There are some words which are formed by multiple processes. For example, we have a word, American word Delhi, and Delhi is a word used in American English. For example, for a shop, in a shop there is a place for meat and such some products. It is known as Delhi. Now there are multiple processes involved in this word. First of all, this word was borrowed by German language Delhi, Catty, Katzen. It was borrowed from German. Then after that it was clipped. All right. Similarly, so there are two processes involved in this word. Then we have snowball. Now first of all, this word is made by compounding snow plus ball. Then it was used as a noun, but after noun it is it is passed from the process of conversion. Now it is also used as a verb as well, that this problem has been snowballed, mean this problem has been getting so big. Then other example, like from laser we might use the word laze as a verb. Then there was an acronym for the name of an organization, WASP. WASP mean White Anglo-Saxon Protestant. White Anglo-Saxon Protestant. And from this people make a word like wappish to represent a behavior like wasp. Alright. And there are some acronyms that might never have been used as a full acronym. For example, young urban professional, young urban professional, young urban professional. So from this the acronym might have been YUP, but it never it was never so popular. So but from this people make a word yuppie. All right. And from yuppie people also make word hippie, and from hippie people also make word yippie. And yippie mean Youth International Party. So, and this yippie was actually a firm Youth International Party, Youth International Party. During during the Vietnam War, in which US was involved. So therefore there was an organization by the name YIPI, Youth International Party in USA, and it was against this war. So actually this process is called analogy. This process is called analogy, whereas new word is formed from the existing word. New word is formed that is similar to the existing word. As I have told you, from yuppie they make from yup they make yuppie, from yuppie they make hippie, from hippie they make yippie. All right. So similarly there was also an organization like yap in America, which was used to make which usually make shrill noises. From this they make yappies. Yappies mean those persons who make shrill noises. And in recent years we have also have many new words in our dictionary which we are using from for example, from application we have app, from vaporizer we have vap. So these are all might be based on this. From blogger which is a combination of web plus log. Now it is used as logger as well. Blogger is a noun, but it is also used as blogging as a verb. And it is also interesting to see that at some points some words were criticized, that why they were added in a dictionary. For example, in 1806 Noah Webster was criticized for citing words like advocate, test, advisory, presidential. They were at that time, people were saying that why you are including these vulgar words like advisory or presidential. So this is how, as I have mentioned, the language changes by the time. All right, so the chapter is completed now, and now we are going to solve study questions. So the first question, when is an eponym a neologism? So we know when an eponym is used as a new word. And what is an eponym? Eponym is a word based on the name of a person or a place, like Hoover. So when an eponym is used as a new word in the language, so it is a neologism. So Hoover was a neologism. So they have cited the example when the Earl of Sandwich friends started calling his new snack a sandwich. So whenever Earl of Sandwich takes a snack, so their friends started calling him a sandwich, a sandwich. So they created a neologism with an eponym. They created a neologism with an eponym. Eponym was Earl of Sandwich, and with this they created a neologism, a new word. Question 2. Which word formation process is the source of the English word modem? So you know, modem is actually the is formed by the process of blending. All right, in this, you know, we have modulator plus we have demodulator, and from this we have taken mo of modulator and dem of dem, so modem. Which two processes were involved in the creation of the verb Google, as in have you googled yourself? So we know, first of all, the Google was a trademark. So first of all, it was you can say coinage, because it was the invention of totally new word. We cannot call it eponym because it is not based on the name of a person or place. So first of all, it was a coinage when it people started using it with small letter Google, and after that it was converted into verb. So coinage and conversion were two processes involved in this word. Question 4. Which process is clearly involved in creating the new term selfie? So actually it is hypocorism. So actually this word was actually known as self picture. So now it is used as self, and ie is added, selfie. So it is hypocorism. Then we have, what do we call the process whereby a new word is formed to be similar to an existing word? We have just studied like yuppie, yappy, yippee. So it is analogy. Which of the following pairs contain an example of calque? How would you describe the others? So we have to tell that from these examples, which are the examples of calque and what are the other example. If we look at the first example, footborrow and football. So from footborrow, English has borrowed this word from Japanese and it has become like football. So actually it is a borrowing, because the form of the word has not changed to another extent. In Hungarian, training is just similar to training of English. So once again it is a borrowed word. but Luna de Miel in Spanish it was moon of honey, and in English it is honeymoon. So actually it is the example of calque, because each element has been translated, therefore you can say the form has changed, altered. Jardin de France in French it was garden of children, and in German it was children garden. Yeah, German children garden, kindergarten, and French has translated it into as word by word, so it is garden of children. So actually these were original words and these were the borrowed or loan translated words. So C and D are loan translated, A and B are borrowed. Question 7. Can you identify the different word formation processes involved in producing each of the underlined words in these sentences? Yes. So the first example is acronym, acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. Then we have fantastic. It is the example of infix. Then we have these new skateboards. Skateboard is the example of compounding from Z Designs or Kick-Ass. So Kick-Ass is also a compounding, kick plus ass. Then when I am ill, I want to see a dog, not a vet. It is a clipping of doctor and veterinary doctor. The house next door was burgled. So actually the actual word was burglar, but now it is used as a verb as well. So it is the, you can say, we call it backformation. I was babysitting the Smith's children. So the actual word was babysitter, and then it is back formed to use as a verb, babysit. I like old sofa, it's nice and comfy. So sofa is borrowed from, so it is actually borrowing, it is borrowed from Arabic, and comfy is actually Hypocorism. From comfortable we have made comfy. I think Robin said she'd like a toasty for brekkie. Toasty is actually once again Hypocorism of toasted sandwich. From toasted sandwich we have made toasty, and from breakfast we have made brekkie. Once again y is added and ie is added at the end, so it is Hypocorism. You don't need to button it because it's got velcro inside. Now button is usually a noun, but to button, what happens that it is a conversion process. The word is not reduced, but the word is it has been using here as a verb, so it is a conversion. And velcro, as I mentioned earlier, it is the combination of two words, valors and crochet. So it is actually a French word and it is a blending, velcro. Question 8. Identify the prefixes and suffixes used in these words. So very easy. Misfortune, terrorism, carelessness, disagreement, ineffective, unfaithful, prepackaged, bio is a prefix, D is a prefix, gradable, it is a suffix. Reincarnation, so actually incarnate is a word, is a complete word. Incarnate, in is not a prefix. Incarnate is a word adopted from Latin. So reincarnation, in reincarnation, re is a prefix and shun is a suffix, but incarnate is a complete word. Decentralization, D, and then we have main word center, then Asian. So there are 3 suffixes and 1 prefix. So these are some. In Kamu, the word cap means to grasp with tongs and tiap means to fold a small package. What would be the word for tongs? A small package and a small package. So we know in Kamu, rn is added to make the verb a noun. So we can see cap means to grasp with tongs, which means it is a verb. So if we want to make it tongs, if we want to make it noun, so we have to add rn just after k sound. And in tiap, tap mean to fold a small package, and if we want to make it a noun which means a small package, so we have to add rn just after t. So these so we shall add rn in this word and rn in this word. Now this means thongs and this means a small package. Question 10. Why are the expressions my PIN number and the ATM machine slightly odd? Yes, they are odd because PIN is the full form of PIN is personal identification number. Yes, personal identification number. So if I say my PIN number, it means my personal identification number. So it is a repetition, therefore it is odd. Similarly, the case automatic teller machine, therefore these are slightly odd due to repetition. The English phrase road rage. Now road rage mean when there is a violent, you can say, interaction between two drivers at the road during some traffic or any of the incident. It is a road rage in English, but in Danish language, this is the form for road rage, veg vrede, and they are using it way anger. So road rage usually mean in angry way, and they are using it way anger. So actually they have loan translated it. So it is a this process is actually calque or loan translation. So more than one process was involved in the creation of the forms underlying in these sentences. Can you identify the process involved in each of the case? So we have to tell that in the underlined words what processes are involved. The first, in FedEx, first of all there is a blending between Federal and Express, so it becomes FedEx, and from FedEx it is also used as a noun, or sorry, as a verb. So it was a noun FedEx, but it is also using as a verb. Police have reported an increase in carjackings. So first of all there is blending between car and hijack, so it become carjacking, and after carjacking was a verb, now it is also using as a noun. Jeeves, could you tell the maid to be sure to hoover the bedroom carpet? As it is suggested, hoover was first of all was eponym, then it started using as a noun, and then it also started using as a verb. So hoover the bedroom mean to clean the bedroom carpet. Temp is first of all there is a clipping. The full word is temporary worker. From it we have temp, and I had two temp. Two temp mean it is using as a verb. So from noun it is converted into verb as well. So there is a conversion and clipping. Is your friend Ian still blogging? So first of all there is blending between web plus log is equal to blog, and as blog was a noun, but it is also using as a verb, that I am blogging, he is blogging. So now conversion and blending. Would you prefer a decaf? Now there are multiple processes involved in this word. We have to look at very eagerly with concentration. So decaf is usually a reduced version of a cup of coffee made with decaffeinated coffee. This is the reduced version of this coffee. First of all we can see there is clipping. The longer word decaffeinated is also have some derivation. We can say d and ated, d8 and id. So there are some prefixes and suffixes as well. So there is derivation as well from caffeine, and this word was originally borrowed from French. So this is a third process, and when after this decaffeinated, so conversion from noun. So the word was caffeine. Caffeine was a noun. From noun it was made an adjective, decaffeinated, and from this decaffeinated it was once again converted into noun as decaf. Now would you prefer a decaf? Would you prefer a decaf? Now it is a noun. You can see it is using as the place of a noun. So there are 1 2 3 4 5 6 processes are involved in this word. So this is how words might be changed throughout the history, and there are certain examples of such words in almost all languages we can see, we can say. So this is all about today's lecture. I hope you have understood it. So you can subscribe this channel if you have liked it. So jazakallah khairan and thank you.